Remember the Nightingale by Tiffini Johnson, Chapter 3. Amada's birth. Evariste stands in the pasture, milking one of the cows, when she hears a familiar voice screaming her name. Standing, she looks behind her to see Gaeton running. He's run hard all the way here. That frightens her. "Where's Akalisa?" he shouts without stopping near the pasture. Instead, he heads for the door of their hut. "She's not here. What's wrong?" "She went to the market." Evariste finally reaches him and puts a hand out, touching his arm. She can see his chest pounding as he curses and shakes a fist. "Mama, she's... the baby... she's not well. Can you help?" "Of course, I can help. I'll help. Let's go." "Mamrie!" Mamrie's thin body appears from inside the hut. "What's all the noise?" she asks. "Muhira's birthing is not going well, and I'm going to help. Tell Mama when she returns." Mamrie nods, frowning. The last time Mama birthed, the baby was born asleep. The childbed scares the young girl, and she worries about their friend Muhira's little one. Evariste can help. She attends many livestock births and helps Mama every time. When the last child was born soulless, Evariste comforted Mama by sitting with her on the childbed. She cut the lifeline, rubbed the child's back, smacked its bottom, trying to make it breathe. And when she knew it wasn't going to, she washed the birth fluids from the body, cleaning even under the fingernails, swaddled the baby in a thin white cloth. She made sure the blue lips were together, the eyes were closed, and then she carefully lay the gentle dead weight into the crook of her mother's arm. Though she was young, Evariste removed everyone from the room, including herself, to give her mother time to grieve. She stayed as calm as an old soul, Muhira told Mama. "I almost didn't know what to do with one that was crying," Evariste laughs when she tells the story of Mamrie's birth. Except she did. She cared for her living baby sister as gently as she could. If anyone could help a birthing along, Evariste can. She and Gaeton run alongside each other, quiet. "I don't want it," Gaeton told Evariste this when they first learned Muhira was expecting. His mother remarried a year and 2 months after Gaeton's father and brother died. She fell pregnant soon thereafter. "I saw him die," Gaeton raged. "I heard." Irritably, he jabbed fingers toward both his ears. "His last breath. I'm not gonna forget his life." When he let her, Evariste hugged him, even when he didn't want her to, and she showed up at his house during those first few months of Muhira's pregnancy, followed him wherever he went. "I'm not very good at it, and a girl should be able to fish. You absolutely must teach me." She demanded he show her his favorite fishing spots, how to make the best lures, what kind of bait he preferred. When he finished teaching her to fish, she found a dozen other things no one but he could help her with. "There's a break in the fence and Pappy is so busy. Would you help me fix it? Mamrie's wanted a tree fort forever. I remember the tree fort you made for me when I was small. Can I help you make Mamrie one?" When projects failed, she took to pretending. "I'm not really feeling well. Gaeton, do you think you could just walk with me to get water today?" She never lost an opportunity to remind him of how lucky the new baby would be to have him for a brother. "That baby's gonna need you. There's never been a better big brother. You're so smart. I think you're gonna love this baby because it is part of your Mama, and you love her. Don't you think it's nice how he brings her treats from the market so often? It seems like he really loves her." "I'm glad Muhira has another husband who loves her. She's lucky to have found someone again. She's more lucky to have you as a son." Bit by bit, Evariste wore him down. She laughed today. He seemed simultaneously confused, sad, and happy on the hot day just weeks after Muhira married. She laughed. Evariste replied, "I don't think that's a bad thing. Is it a bad thing?" He shook his head, his brows furrowed. "No, No, it's just I couldn't make her laugh. Evariste smiled, patting him on the arm. Women need husbands. But don't worry, you make me laugh all the time. And I can make you laugh too. Playfully, she batted her eyelashes, tilting her head to the side and raising a shoulder to her cheek. As predicted, Gaeton chuckled. Somehow, within the last few weeks, there's been a shift. Instead of resentment, Gaeton's worried about his mother and the baby. He makes sure the chores are done and that there's plenty of water. He never strays too far for too long when she's alone. He's become what Evariste knows he is deep down, a protector. It's one of many things she loves about him. Lines crease his forehead, his thin eyebrows draw together, his narrow eyes pulled into deeper slits. His defined lips purse, his jaw clenches. He is worry personified as they race toward his hut. They hear Muhira's screams before they reach the door. Evariste out of breath as they burst through the darkened doorframe. Gaeton, though he's run further and harder, shows no sign of exhaustion. What do you need? He asks, shifting his weight from one foot to another. He wants to move towards his mother. Evariste can see it in the way he starts to put weight on his right foot and then retreats. Instead, he clenches and unclenches his hand. Just make sure we don't run out of fresh water, and if there's some linen or something to use to wrap the baby in when it is born, we'll need that. I'm dying, Muhira gasps. Her head rolled to the side, her eyes locking with her son. His nostrils flare, but before he speaks, Evariste shakes her head. No, you're not. Just feels like you are. Go on, Gaeton, I've got it. We'll be fine. He stares at her without blinking. She reaches out, putting her fingers soft against the back of his hand. Automatically, his hand turns, intertwining their fingers briefly. His eyes lock on hers. She nods. Go on. Go get the baby's father. The spell broken, Gaeton nods. I'll be right outside, Mama. I'll bring him to you. Muhira moans, her lips barely moving as she whispers, My son. He turns, running outside to find the man he resented for so long, the father of his new sibling, while Evariste swallows back fear of her own and approaches the birthing bed. The sun still sets high in the sky as guttural groans rip through the Rwanda landscape, startling grazing cattle and waking the white and brown spotted dog. Time slows. Each passing minute feels like an eternity to Gaeton, Evariste, and Muhira. Evariste pops her head out every so often, asking for water. She does it again to see if her Imama can be seen walking down the dirt road yet. But no one comes, leaving Evariste to make decisions she's never made for a human birth before. Nearly biting a hole through her bottom lip, she stares at the space between Muhira's legs and blinks. Second-guessing herself, she tentatively reaches small hands in and confirms those are feet. Feet can never come first. She wishes for her mother. The sun dips a bit lower in the sky, playing peekaboo with the eucalyptus trees. Gaeton jumps when an indescribable shrieking blasts through the hut and into his veins. His stepfather grabs his arm, shaking his head, preventing him from rushing into the birthing room. It's women's business. The sky dresses in hues of pink and lavender. The heat of the white sun fades to an orange ember. It is then Akalisa's curvy figure is seen cresting the top of the hill. Gaeton starts to run towards her, but stops when the hut's door opens. Evariste stands, wipes a bloodied hand across her forehead. Her long neck shimmers with sweat as she says, They are both fine. You have a daughter and a new sister, and you may go see them. Gaeton's face, tight with tension, relaxes for the first time all day. Cheerfully, he cups Evariste's face in his hands and rests his lips against her forehead for only a moment before running into the birthing room to see his mother and new sister. Akalisa hugs her daughter, congratulates her on helping birth a live baby girl, and takes over. Turning the baby meant tearing Muhira, and She needs careful monitoring to ensure the rudimentary stitches Evariste gave her don't open. Instead of walking the distance home, Evariste sits on the stoop of the hut and rests, her eyes tracking the striped sky as the sun lays low now on the horizon. The dog returns to sleep. The cattle meander to a small creek. The land returns to its slow and steady pace. Yet it is different. It will support now a new life. A hard birth means a hard life ahead, something Evariste heard all her life. The harder the birthing, the harder life's journey. The little one inside was turned the wrong way, and without assistance she would have crushed her head and died during birth. She's beautiful. Gaeton's voice sounds awed as he steps out and bends his tall frame to sit beside her. The baby is beautiful. Evariste turns her head to stare at him, the man she loves. She smells badly of drying blood and birthing fluids, of sweat and the exhaustion of hours with a laboring woman. He's right, though. The new baby is beautiful. I wonder what her names will be. The naming ceremony will take place. You'll have to come and offer a suggestion. The naming ceremony of living babies takes place nearly a month after birth, partly so that the family can get to know the new child's unique personality and partly to ensure the baby survives life outside the womb. Each name she'll receive will be uniquely hers. Naming ceremonies are fun, and Evariste hopes she'll be invited. We're connected, she says softly, staring at the sparkling sunset. You and the baby. Because you birthed her? Evariste shrugs. Maybe that's part of it, but also, I just know she's special. Gaeton smiles, a line of white teeth making his face shine. Yes, she is. A wave rolls deep in Evariste's belly. Shivers race along her arms. Special doesn't always mean good. Sighing heavily, she shakes her head, telling herself she's just tired. She needs to bathe, eat, and sleep. And when she tells Gaeton she's tired and should go home to bathe, he stands, nodding, contrite. Tomorrow, I'll see you? His eyes are like magnets, she decides ruefully, unable to look away. She nods, happy at the thought of seeing him again the following day. And I won't smell as bad then either, she promises. He chuckles, watching her walk away, turning on her way to look over her shoulder at him again. He winks, waves, and thinks to himself, my future wife.